and reaches everywhere. This is beyond Wi-Fi. This is Xfi. Simple, easy, awesome. Xfinity, the future of awesome.
Tricky Dick, a CNN original series, Sundays at 9.
All right, this morning, federal officials are investigating the FAA. According to the Wall Street Journal, the Transportation Department Inspector General is looking into the FAA's approval of the Boeing 737 MAX jet that, of course, has been involved in those two deadly crashes in a matter of just 5 months. My colleague Tom Foreman joins me now. This is really important. What is the FAA looking for here? I mean, why are they concerned?
And it's really unusual, too. Essentially, what we're being told here is that after the Lion Air crash, what the Wall Street Journal is reporting, which happened in Indonesia last fall, this investigation was started by the Department of Transportation looking at the FAA's procedures for approving this new system that was involved with the MAX jet line of planes. It was an automatic correction system if the plane started nosing up too much. Basically, what the Wall Street Journal article is saying is that more and more of the approval relied upon Boeing actually doing the test and Boeing saying it was safe and the FAA saying, fine, you need to rush this plane out. We're just going to get it out there. That's basically the gist of that story. Now, we haven't been able to independently confirm any of that. And it's important, even though we haven't had a response from the FAA directly to this, or the Department of Transportation, the FAA did issue a statement that said the FAA's aircraft certification processes are well established and have consistently produced safe aircraft designs. The 737 MAX certification program followed the standard certification process. So the bottom line is this does not seem to be tied to the Ethiopian crash at this point, but was based on questions about the Lion Air crash and whether or not this federal agency was feeling too overburdened, too whatever, that it allowed Boeing itself to say, okay, our new system on this plane will be fine, and then arguably it was not.
And on top of this, I mean, you have Ethiopia's transportation minister saying that the plane's flight data recorder shows similarities with the crash of the model Boeing 737 MAX 8 in October. Do you know at this point, Tom, what the similarities are that these two black boxes now show?
Well, there are the patterns of flight, which we know from the satellite analysis, which would also be reflected in the flight data recorder, possibly even in the voice recorder if they were talking about it. What do we know about those patterns of flight? We know that because of the design of these new jets, there was a tendency for the nose to come up. So an automatic system was installed to bring the nose back down. But a lot of reporting since then has suggested that if this system is not essentially working properly, if it gets false readings from faulty sensors or a faulty sensor at the front of the plane, it can make it nose much more steeply down, and the pilots are unable to overcome that. So in terms of the evidence, one of the questions out there is this idea that they found a jack screw tied to the rear fins on the plane, I guess I'll call them, the parts that make the plane go into that dive, suggesting that they were sharply angled downward at the time, which of course would make the plane dive into the ground. There is so much that we're going to have to unpack about all of this, Poppy, but it is not going away anytime soon, and the questions are